Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Okay, so I have to admit it's a little bit different when you're actually there. I've spent so much time essentially on the sideline, watching the fake news spew their hateful rhetoric and spin their ridiculous narratives and stories, especially in relation to these Trump rallies and these Trump events. And of course, we've covered all the slanderous lies before, but it's a different thing when you're actually there, I have to admit. For those of you guys who follow me on X, you probably already know, but I don't think I ever announced it on YouTube, but I traveled to New York City to attend that Madison Square Garden rally, and so I was there, present in the moment. I saw what happened with my own eyes, and I listened to what was being said with my own ears. And for me, there's only one way to describe what I experienced. It was truly amazing, uplifting, inspirational, whatever you want to call it. I think it's the greatest political rally ever conducted. But according to the media, it was a hate rally and a Nazi rally. And I was getting these updates on my phone as the rally was going, and I'm sitting there, in utter disbelief, although it's hard to say that because it's totally predictable behavior these days, but still sitting there shocked. I can't believe they're writing this stuff. I can't believe this is what they're saying. But of course, that was the angle. The left is continuing here with the same strategy. Donald Trump and his MAGA supporters are a bunch of Nazis. They're actually claiming that this was a hate rally and losing their minds over a joke. This is what they've got, folks. Let's have a conversation about this hysteria, friends. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so Donald Trump packs Madison Square Garden. Completely freaking packs the venue. He manages to do something quite historic, I'd add. If we lived in a fair world, the conversation would be talking about all the people who came out to support him, all the surprises, new promises, a focus on policy, of course. But instead, what do we get? We get this hyper-fixation on Tony Hinchcliffe's comedy routine. The left is calling it a, quote, hate rally.
The opening act, grabbing headlines for all the wrong reasons, a comedian who offered unfunny, racist, cringeworthy jokes.
Basically calling Puerto Ricans trash.
The most repulsive racial jokes about Latinos.
Disgusting and hateful.
So incredibly crude.
Frankly, just too X-rated to play here.
Extremely vile so-called jokes. But my point is, it's discouraging that so many people would gather and rally to hate speech.
And a number of speakers used downright racist and offensive language, no more so than the so-called comedian who said that Puerto Rico was an island of garbage.
This was a hate rally.
The New York Daily News is running with this headline: racist rally. Speakers supporting Trump and MSG event insult Puerto Ricans, blacks, Jews, and Kamala Harris. You can see exactly what they're doing, right? Words must be carefully chosen, and they certainly chose their words carefully. This totally deceptive account on X called Kamala HQ employed the exact same strategy. Trump rally speaker goes on vile racist tirade against Latinos. Speaker, apparently. Yeah, Tony Hinchcliffe is, I'd argue, less of a speaker and more of a comedian, a roast comedian at that. He was literally introduced as a roast comedian. But they want to present him as a speaker who wasn't delivering jokes. No, this was just his speech, and this is actually what he believes. It's insane, right? Am I crazy? Is that seriously what they're going with? This entire reaction of moral outrage that we're seeing from the deceptive Democrats is, first of all, exactly what you'd expect, but secondly, it's totally absurd. And frankly, I think it shows you exactly who these Democrats are. What's the angle here? That comedians should be banned from speaking, that jokes aren't allowed, edgy humor equates to fascism? It's insane. But that's exactly what they're doing, calling it a hate rally, and using the fake news chyron to draw connections to Hitler's infamous 1939 rally at Madison Square Garden. But the whole thing is absurd. And this isn't just an overreaction, it's a calculated attempt by the Democrats to stoke fear and manipulate the public by taking things grossly out of context. Comedy, by its nature, pushes boundaries and explores taboo topics. And as we know, the First Amendment doesn't just protect comfortable speech, it protects all speech, especially when it challenges and offends. Tony Hinchcliffe's jokes, while of course, perhaps were edgy or polarizing, are an expression of free speech. His comedy performance was a comedy performance. It wasn't a rallying cry for hatred. It was a comedic exploration, a way to navigate difficult subjects through satire. Now, did he have some jokes that might have gone a little bit too far, or did he not read the room properly? That's possible, sure, but this response of moral outrage is frankly just pathetic. What happened to this country? The left has now taken a stance that comedy is wrong and that jokes should be illegal. I don't even get it. It's a comedy performance. Enough with the nonsense. We're all adults here. I think it's time to put our big boy pants on. Enough with the boycotts and ridiculous narrative building. Enough with the hypersensitivity. But most importantly, enough with the feigned outrage and fake hypersensitivity, because that's what it really is. You know, this feigned outrage and labeling everything that they disagree with as fascist or hate-filled. It's just another thinly veiled attempt to delegitimize those who support Donald Trump. That's what it is. The left's hypersensitivity is no longer about just political correctness. It's about curbing the voices that challenge their agenda. They've become anti-humor, anti-free speech, quick to censor and condemn, quick to boycott, that's for sure, unable to let a joke just be that, a joke. And it's not because they're sensitive or it hurts their feelings or they're protecting marginalized groups. It's because they're desperate for power. You know, I think the Democrats think they're engaging in good political strategy here, but frankly, I think they're tripping over their shoelaces right now. I mean, just think about the dynamic here. Donald Trump does something amazing. The whole world is tuning in with their eyes wide open. I was there in person. I'm watching this rally and I'm just in complete awe. Look at all these incredible people that came together to promote a message of American exceptionalism and carving a new prosperous path. And instead of talking about that, the left is throwing a hissy fit over a joke? Really? I mean, that's what they got? The contrast couldn't be clearer. This election is going to be about a choice, obviously. Or maybe I'd argue choices, and one of those choices is going to be free speech, freedom of expression, freedom of art. Comedy's an art form. It's a choice between letting American culture flourish, or frankly, the other option, having a cultural style revolution, or the other option, frankly, having a Chinese style cultural revolution where alternative opinions or edgy jokes and edgy humor are illegal, where political correctness rules the day. In other words, self-censorship and speech control. The elites get to decide what you can and what you cannot say. I mean, it's right in line with the narrative now, isn't it? And you know, there was a common denominator throughout this entire event. I mean, even Dr. Phil at one point was ranting about cancel culture.
And the legacy media has sold out. The legacy media has sold out. And I'll tell you, one night I was sitting at dinner with my wife, Robin, and I was complaining as we were flipping around and listening to the spin on what's supposedly news. And I said, damn, I'm tired of listening to all this media spin and everything. And without even looking up, she said, well, you are the media. Why don't you do something about it? She said, you got bigger ratings than the four of them combined. Why don't you do something about it? Well, as usual, she was right. And that's why I launched the new network, because we want people to think for themselves. You guys aren't dumb. You don't need to be told what to think. You just need the facts. And you're here because you have the facts, right? You're here because you recognize when legacy media edits answers and gives you what they want you to hear instead of the truth. And when they start editing their candidates' answers, they've lost their moral compass. They've lost their way. And I would love to say it's equal on both sides, but I'll guarantee you, when Beyonce, George Clooney, De Niro, and Lizzo come out and say they're for Kamala Harris, when they all come out and say they're for Kamala Harris, did you read anything or hear anything in the media criticizing it? No. But you watch what happens tomorrow morning when people find out I came here to talk to you. You say this in Hollywood and all of a sudden you ain't got a job. The problem is I don't need one. I don't need a job because I got you. And I've got a question for all of us. Have we lost our minds? We have the First Amendment in America where our government has said we will pass no laws to infringe on our freedoms for religion and speech. So that's the law, but we're muzzling each other. What is going on? We have a law that protects free speech, so we start taking it away from each other? Are you kidding me? We can't allow that to happen.
That was one of the big themes of the night. Enough with this political correctness nonsense. And then here we have the left engaging in clear, dishonest cancel culture. It's unreal, and I don't know who this is convincing. I feel like many Americans remember a time where we used to be able to laugh and joke, where we didn't take everything so seriously. Not everything was a grave threat to our lives and certain marginalized groups. Not everything's a freaking genocide. They're words meant to invoke shock and a reaction. It's a joke. It's been part of our culture for how long? I don't know who this is convincing. I don't think it's going to work. I don't think people are going to head to the polls and make their decisions based on what a comedian said during his comedy performance. And actually, I think the Trump response pretty much handles the issue, and that's that. People are saying that the Trump camp is distancing themselves. Oh, they're in damage control mode. Here's the report. Trump camp seeks distance from comic calling Puerto Rico a floating pile of garbage at rally does not reflect the views of President Trump. Oh, Donald Trump is backtracking. He's in big trouble. No, he's literally saying what everybody already understands. This joke does not reflect the views of the president because it's a joke. It probably doesn't represent the views of Tony Hinchcliffe. It's shock humor, which obviously the Democrats just want to manipulate, and now they want to play identity politics as Kamala Harris and the DNC power structure sends all the Puerto Rican celebrities like Bad Bunny and Ricky Martin, I think Jennifer Lopez, and a couple more to condemn Donald Trump in his quote hate rally and endorse Kamala Harris. It's obvious what they're doing. It's about stoking fear, division, it's about feigning outrage, all in an effort to gain more power. This election is a choice between two sides. The pro-freedom side, the pro-freedom of expression side, the pro-humor and joke side, and of course the side that wants essentially a cultural revolution and to control every aspect of your life. I guess, choose wisely. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.